Hi everybody, a brand new week here on TNT. Thank you very much for dropping in. We're going to go through quite a lot of news today, but we are starting with a bit of a focus on the weather. Why? Because, well, that's what a lot of the publications are focusing on at the moment. Like a lot, because it has been very, very hot, and some might even say unseasonably hot. We go to the Bangkok Post to start this, and it says high temperatures to linger until end of April. And the TMD is warning that temperatures in Thailand may keep rising until the end of this month before the weather will later improve because of the onset of the rainy season. Well, the rainy season will turn up. The big question is when? The TMD saying that from yesterday until May the 7th, temperatures in Thailand will remain high and the wind direction will start to change from the 3rd to the 7th. This is just a forecast. With the appearance of rain clouds in the northeast and the east, temperatures will then moderate. On Sunday, this is yesterday, the highest temperature in the north was from 39 to 44. Temperatures in the northeast, this is the Isan region, ranging from 42 to 44. Down the bottom there in the southern region, temperatures ranged from 35 to 41 in the east. So a lot of these high temperatures driving people indoors, using their air conditioning, indeed driving them to shopping centres, which have been very, very busy, because people just want to try and get out of the heat. But all that time indoors as playing on their phones might lead them to a few rumours. The Thai Meteorological Department is debunking rumours of hottest weather crisis until September. The TMD has publicly revealed a case where Thai netizens spread rumours and warned of Thailand's hottest weather crisis until September. And the story from the PattayaNews.com, and it then goes through just an explanation of the usual weather cycles in Thailand, and finishing with this: the situation of extreme heat crisis in Thailand was therefore unlikely to occur until September, according to the Meteorological Department. Well, I think they could have done better saying therefore unlikely to it won't. I mean, sometime in the next month, as has happened over millennia, we will get the start of the wet season for this year. It's just taking a little while and being very, very hot whilst we're waiting. We'll go to a few other examples and back to the Bangkok Post, where it says weather's impact on farming assessed. And the Department of Internal Trade is monitoring the extremely hot weather in the country and assessing its effect on the production of agricultural and livestock products. And prices of agricultural products remain stable, they say, despite the scorching weather and drought conditions. And a spokesperson said the extremely hot weather during this period has damaged vegetable production, causing prices to increase. For regions with unreasonably high vegetable prices, the department will act as an intermediary linking producers with markets to sell vegetables at lower prices, and the weather conditions are affecting livestock, particularly chickens. The proportion of smaller eggs, that's 3, 4 and 5, increased by 50% during these weather conditions. So even the chickens don't like the hot weather. How about the fish? We go to PattayaMail.com. Scorching weather takes toll on fresh seafood supplies in Pattaya. And as scorching temperatures persist, the availability of fresh seafood for tourists has taken a hit, with seafood operators grappling with the repercussions of the relentless heat. Grappling with the repercussions. I smell a bit of ChatGPT here. Fish, shrimp and shellfish, typically supplied by seafood restaurants, has succumbed to the extreme weather conditions, leaving merchants and diners alike in a quandary. On an exceptionally hot April 26, with the sun beating down overhead, a merchant lamented the demise of sea urchins due to the sweltering heat. Reporters ventured to the Lanpo and Naklao seafood markets, where both Thai and foreign tourists continued to flock, eager to purchase seafood for their evening meals, keeping the market bustling despite the challenging circumstances. Well, cutting through all the flowery digital verbiage there, obviously the seafood prices and the seafood varieties have changed due to the extreme heat. The pets are finding it difficult too. Calsot English on their Facebook page reports about a family living in Koh Klang up in Buriram, this is up in Isan, discovered their 3 dogs were experiencing odd symptoms such as saliva bubbling at the mouth, tongue hanging out, drooling, rapid breathing, they initially suspect the dogs had been poisoned, but this was not the case. And once they rubbed water on them, brought them into the water, the dogs appeared to have recovered quickly. At the same time, the excessively hot weather led them to suspect the dogs had heat stroke. Well, it goes without saying, if you do have pets at the moment, or if you have soy dogs roaming around the front of your house, maybe just put out some extra water. I've certainly been keeping an eye on the water here. The animals are doing what they do and making sure they get a bit of extra water. So if you've got a dog, maybe give them a bit of a hose down. Don't think the cats are going to enjoy that. But it's not only here in Thailand. And the Philippines shut schools as heat in the capital busts a 1915 record. This is being reported in the Bangkok Post. The Philippines will halt in-person classes at public schools on Monday and Tuesday amid rising temperatures that reached a record in the capital Manila over the weekend. And the suspension is also due to a scheduled transport strike across the country as jeepney operators continue to protest against a state-mandated modernisation push. And the temperature in metropolitan Manila soared to 38.8 on Saturday. That trumped the previous all-time high of 38.6, recorded back in May 1915. So as it says in the thumbnail, it's hot, damn hot, and it looks like it's going to be continuing. So do whatever you do to keep cool, and during the midday sun, like me, find yourself a bit of air conditioning and just get through to the otherwise beautiful evenings and beautiful mornings. And acknowledging our sponsors, 5-Star Marine at 5starmarinephuket.com. If you are heading down to the south and you'd like to avail yourself of their services, if you go to this website, it's got testimonials, it's got pictures of the destinations, and all sorts of great ideas for your next trip out on the waters of Phangar Bay. Now, speaking of getting back out on the water, we've got the American Navy heading back out on the water from Pattaya after a short visit. It used to be mothers, lock up your daughters, the Navy are in town. But given the ageing nature of some of the Navy, these days they say, daughters, lock up your mothers, the Navy are in town. And 6,000 American sailors depart Pattaya after a short break. This being reported in thepattayanews.com. And the US Navy carrier Strike Group 9 recently departed from Pattaya. That happened yesterday after a rest and relaxation visit. Apparently, Walking Street, Pattaya's renowned nightlife district, saw a surge in activity. Groups of sailors were observed visiting various places on the street, including bars, restaurants and go-go bars. They didn't visit the art galleries and the museums. And Mr. Suntorn, the owner of a go-go bar on Walking Street, said that the city finally witnessed a resurgence of international tourists after the COVID-19 pandemic. He predicted the sailors' visit had generated hundreds of millions of baht in revenue for the city, and probably his go-go bar as well. Meanwhile, Lisa Hamilton, the president of the Pattaya Nightlife Business Association, stated that she observed a change in the sailors' behaviour. Many chose to spend time on the beach or shop at malls, which she said could be due to the hot weather or the regulations imposed by the US Navy to prevent any undesirable incidents. Well, no undesirable incidents to report. We hope the Navy had a good time in town and we wish them well on their journeys beyond. We head to this story from Thai Enquirer.com. Now, I'll put a link to this story in the description of the video. It's quite a long story, but I thought I'd just go through the general tone of the story. And the headline says, Thai police are corrupt, but for Thailand's expats, this is hardly surprising. And they say the issue of police corruption has again been thrust into the limelight with the case of the suspended Deputy National Police Chief, Surachat Hakpan. And they say this news is not shocking to many, especially Thailand's expatriate community, who have long witnessed first-hand Thai police corruption. And for Thailand's expats, navigating daily life often means grappling with a gauntlet of corruption, from the mundane act of renewing a visa to the necessary evil of dealing with police after a traffic accident. Encounters with Thai authorities can inexplicably spiral into a barrage of demands for tea money. Now, without going into half-hour-long commentaries, maybe you could give us a few sentences about your dealings with Thai police. Maybe it was a traffic incident. How much did it cost you? I'd be interested to know just very quickly some details about your particular interfaces with the Thai police and any possible corruption or exchange of tea money. And they say this isn't merely about greasing palms to smooth out the perennial red tape. It's an institutional malaise that sees foreigners as walking ATMs, ripe for exploitation. Again, this is all opinion in ThaiEnquirer.com. The tales are as common as they are frustrating. Take, for instance, the routine traffic stop or the process of obtaining a work permit, or raids on businesses owned by foreigners under the guise of checking permits, but often ending in thinly veiled threats that can only be silenced by hefty payouts. And I think I can say, after 13 years here, I have all three of those things to one extent or the other. So without going into a 4-paragraph dissertation, I'd be interested to know if you could just put some quick details about your interfaces with Thai police or officials where you've had to put your hand in your pocket. In this context, the case against Surachat does not just resonate, it reverberates. And as I said, I'll put a link in the description to that article from ThaiEnquirer.com. Very well written indeed. Head now to some other news, and we go to ThaiPBS.com and reporting about a cabinet reshuffle, 4 ministers removed and 6 new faces. This is the cabinet reshuffle that was denied for weeks, and then of course there was the meeting with the former Prime Minister Thaksin Shinawatra the other day to apparently give it the tick of approval, and now it's been announced. And removed from the cabinet, the Public Health Minister, the PM's Office Minister, and also 2 Deputy Agriculture Ministers. The new faces in the cabinet are, we've got a new Deputy Prime Minister and Finance Minister. We've got 2 new Prime Minister Office Ministers, not sure what they do. We've got a new Deputy Finance Minister and a Deputy Commercial Minister. And the Prime Minister, Srettha Thavisin, is retaining only his Prime Minister post. He was also the Finance Minister, but that's either been taken from him or he's relinquished it. But if you sort of cut all the way through this, it looks like the people who have been promoted to these posts could be described generally as Thaksin friendly. And Panpri, he was the Foreign Minister. He was removed from the Deputy Premiership but retained his Foreign Minister portfolio, which he has resigned from just late yesterday. So he's leaving the cabinet and will just be an MP on the sidelines. And time to say farewell to some much-loved aircraft with Thai Airways. I dare say in one of your journeys to Thailand, maybe 15, 20, 25 years ago, you may have flown on one of these aircraft. They were much loved by the Thai staff and by many flyers. As Nation Thailand reports, Thailand bids adieu to jumbo jets with the sale of its entire ageing fleet, and announced the sale of their entire fleet of Boeing 747-400 aircraft, marking the end of an era when its 18 aircraft were operating the long-haul routes. So the 747-400, that had the extended top hump there and was a very popular aircraft for flyers, particularly for those people that were able to fly in that cabin up the top. I never did. And the disposal of the aircraft, once known as Queen of the Skies, was attributed to their ageing and in line with the airline's route strategy adjustments. And further down there's 18 other aircraft waiting for decommissioning, consisting of Airbus A380, that's the big super jumbo with the double-decker, and the Boeing 777 series, mostly wide-body aircraft. And in 2013, the airline had a total of 100 aircraft. But further down there, by the end of 2022, Thai Airways had reduced its operational fleet to just 64 aircraft, and that represented a 36% decrease in the fleet size. What are they going to replace them with? Well, they've been gradually receiving 21 wide-body aircraft, primarily the Airbus A350s, And from the end of next year, Thai will start receiving its narrow-body Airbus A321neo aircraft, and these additions will see an increase in the airline's fleet to 79 this year and 90 next year. That there, the ceremony yesterday as the Thai Airways staff bid a fond farewell to their last Boeing 747-400. Now, the article doesn't allude to the recent announcement of a purchase of some Boeing 787 Dreamliners. Now, whether that's actually going to happen or not, I'm not exactly sure, given the turmoil with the Boeing company at the moment, and particularly problems with their 737 and the construction of their 787 aircraft. Certainly wasn't alluded to in that particular article. But with that, I thank you very much for dropping in today. Thank the turtles for dropping in as well. I've got a dog at my feet. Hopefully you have a cool Monday as this hot weather continues. Please subscribe to the channel if you get a moment, and we look forward to seeing you tomorrow.